Hi, I'm Michael with Kind Home Solutions. In this video, we're going to talk about how much it costs to paint an interior. The first thing to consider when you're trying to figure out how much it's going to cost to paint your interior is, what are you going to paint? It definitely costs a different amount to paint your walls and your ceiling, or your walls, ceilings, trim, and doors. So when it comes to figuring out how much it's going to cost to paint your interior, there's really two different ways that you can figure this out. Some painters use a price per square foot, and that covers everything: your walls, your ceiling, and your trim. Now, as a company, we don't estimate that way. So in this video, we're going to talk about how to itemize it with your ceilings, walls, and trims, each with its own price. So in order to calculate that, what you're going to want to do is get some rough measurements of your wall space, your ceiling space, and the linear footage of your trim. In order to do that, you take your width times height of each of your walls and add them together. Or you can use your floor space to calculate the ceilings. And you'll just want to get a rough measurement of the distance of the trim that you're using, or that you will be painting. Once you have those rough measurements figured out, you're going to want to have a cost per unit to multiply those by. To get a good ballpark on your walls, you can multiply anywhere from $1.25 to $1.50 per square foot, depending upon how many walls and how much square footage you're actually going to be painting. For the ceilings, you can use roughly $1.25 to $1.50 per square foot. And for the trim, you could do $1.75 to $2.25 a linear foot. And that should give you a good average for what you'll see when getting quotes on painting your interior. What you're gonna find with most painters, that price per unit will get adjusted slightly based upon how much you're gonna do. What that means is, the more of one particular unit that you're gonna do, the less it tends to cost per. So if you have more wall space to paint, it's usually cheaper than if you only paint one room. That cost per square foot tends to be a little higher. The same is true with ceilings, walls, and trim. The last thing you're going to want to figure out is how many doors you're painting. On average, most painters charge somewhere around the $50 per door, so add that to your quote. Once you've done all that math, add them up, and you should have a good idea of how much it'll cost to paint your interior. Now, obviously, there are a few other factors that go into play here. Are there repairs? Are there special circumstances? Are you removing popcorn? Are you painting cabinets? Is the house empty? Are you spraying it? Are you rolling it? All of those different factors can adjust the cost that you'd be expecting when to paint your interior. This particular project that we're at here is a 1,500 square foot townhome. Now this is a 4-story townhome, so there's a little bit more wall space than you would expect for 1,500 square feet. This particular house has roughly 4,000 square feet of wall space and roughly 1,500 square feet of ceiling space. We're doing walls, ceilings, trim, doors, and a little bit of railings. So we're doing pretty much everything you can paint in this home except the cabinets, and these aren't wood cabinets, so no painting there. For this particular project, we're looking roughly $8,500. That's with $5,000 for all of the wall space, $1,500 for the ceilings, about $2,000 for all of the trim and doors, and about $600 to paint the metal railings. When you add all that up together, it comes out to be about $8,500. Now, when it comes to ranges, you can see prices all over the place for interiors. In this particular video, you're going to see a $4,000, a $6,000, an $8,000, and a $12,000 home, so you can kind of compare those costs. We do have a minimum of $2,000 on all interior projects, mainly because our interior teams have 4 to 6 people on them, and it's really difficult for us to do smaller jobs. Now, not all companies have a minimum, and sometimes you can get it for less. A typical bedroom might cost somewhere between the $600 to $1,200 depending upon the size of the bedroom. One of the questions we're often asked, why does painting your interior cost more than painting your exterior? Well, there tends to be more surface area to be painted on an interior. There's definitely more masking, more tape, more plastic, more paper, and you don't usually paint your roof, but we often paint the ceilings on an interior. Another contributing factor that goes into how much it costs is what type of product are you using? What type of paint are you using on your trim and doors? What type of product are you using on your walls? And what are you using on your ceilings? All of the manufacturers do have a fairly wide range for products that can go as low as $40 or $50 per gallon or as high as $95, $125 a gallon, depending upon the brand and the quality of paint. What you're gonna see is different within those qualities of paint is how well they hold up to wear and tear. How well can you clean them and wipe them? How easily do they scuff? So if you have an intense family with lots of kids and dogs, you probably want to use a better product just so you can get a little bit more life out of your paint. On this particular project, we're using a product called Sherwin-Williams Cashmere. This is one of their higher end, medium grade paints that gives you a good life at a reasonable cost. A couple products you might consider using on a higher end is Sherwin-Williams Duration Home or Sherwin-Williams Emerald, both phenomenal interior products. If you're looking for a more economic paint job, Promar 200 from Sherwin-Williams is a great option. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. I hope it helps you figure out how much it's going to cost to paint your interior.